Knowing that you knew better and then saying I told you so is one of life's little twisted dark pleasures. And so to you, Herman Hulst, my friend at PlayStation, head of PlayStation, allow me to say, I told you so. Does feel good. I owe myself a treat. Financial Times has an interview from Gamescom with Herman Hulst going, I don't think our live service plan's working. He didn't say that verbatim, but he was basically admitting they'd screwed up. I'm kind of shocked it took him this long to figure it out. Well, okay, let's be a nice guy. I don't know Herman. Never encountered him once. I only encountered secondhand information about the guy, which was he kind of was really, really good at politically maneuvering, which may very well be why he is there and Sean Layden is not. I don't know, but that ties into what we are talking about because I need you to listen to this. Concord bombed. Multiple projects have been canceled in their live service initiative. What is it? They started with 13. Now they're down to like 4 or something. Hulst, head of PlayStation Studios, as you know, comes out. And this is what he says in this interview. This is the quote. I'll do it like him. I don't know. He sounds like a Nazi because he's European. I don't want us, now it's like Dracula. I don't want us to always play it safe, he says, but when we fail, we should fail early and cheaply. That's one of the I told you so's. That's true, though. You should always fail early and cheaply. And hey, congrats, Herman, on learning what people in video game development and software development have known for decades. Forget the fact that, fail fast, fail cheap is kind of a Silicon Valley motto from the mobile phone days. When we were at PlayStation at the very beginning, before there was a PlayStation, this is stuff that we learned. Fail early, fail fast. That's not a aha moment. That's not something, think about it. That is not something that the CEO or the head of the company should be having an epiphany about X years into the job after hundreds of millions of dollars have been lost. But yeah, we learned these lessons 25 years ago as the original PlayStation crew. But back then, the stakes were way lower. You killed a project back then. A couple people were like, go work on this guy's project while the producer stays employed and figures out what went wrong and comes up with something else, right? That's how we learned. Today, you kill a game. What do you lay off an entire studio, multiple studios, hundreds of millions of dollars lost, at least in the case of Concord. But let's be clear, this segment is not about Concord failing or Sony's live service games failing. No shit, Jaffe, we're aware. I know you're aware. But here's the thing. It's about the staggering inexperience of the head of PlayStation. And it's about the fact he doesn't know, as the head of the company, how embarrassing it is for him and the company to be admitting publicly some of the most basic tech business 101 stuff on the planet. Fail fast, fail early. Jesus. Tomorrow I expect an article with the headline, Herman Hulst discovers if you order pizza and lunch for your team, you can get them to work a little bit more. It's like, dude, welcome, to 20 years ago. But again, when I started at PlayStation, we killed games all the time. But all those games were cheap to make. They didn't take very long to get to a point where you knew you needed to kill it or keep it going. And when you killed it again, 400 people didn't get laid off. Those cancellations are how we learned to build PlayStation in terms of what it really is known for today, which is the single-player cinematic games. It doesn't mean that's all PlayStation has. I get it. I was there when Gran Turismo 1 launched. MLB The Show. I get it. But the vast majority of people will tell you that PlayStation's first-party output legacy so far is God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, Ratchet & Clank, single-player action-adventure cinematic titles. That magic came from learning not just to fail early and fail fast, but also the second lesson that this is nuts, man, that he's miraculously learned that also is part of this interview with Financial Times. I can't believe this is the CEO and not like an intern hanging out with his boss for drinks and going, look what I learned today. And it's like, good job, intern. You might be ready to be hired as an assistant producer. But here's what he says. He says, we have since put in place much more rigorous and frequent testing in very different ways. The advantage of every failure is people now understand how necessary that oversight is. Really? Now you understand how necessary that oversight is? Jesus, if you guys hadn't gotten rid of Connie Booth, or Alan Becker, or Shuhei, maybe they could have told you, hey, you know what, fellas, there's actually a job called creative executive, and we're really good at it. And we know when the teams are running too far afoul of the fact that, that we need to treat them as the artists they are, but we're also making commercial products. And we also need to make sure marketing has bought in a lot of this stuff. You're now learning how necessary frequent testing and oversight is? Oh, yay? the current leadership at PlayStation, at least Herman, didn't really come out of that producer culture. The Alan Beckers, the Shuheis, the Connie Booths, the Scott Rohdes, all of these guys who were outmaneuvered, the Sean Layden's, all of these guys that were outmaneuvered by Herman. I mean, what the fuck is going on? Sony's biggest issue is not knowing how to make live service games. It's not knowing how to promote the right people, because the people who are better at political, machinations, is that a word? Political maneuvering, are the ones that get the jobs, that make the differences. And I get a lot of companies are like that, but there's a balance between going, hey, this guy is Machiavellian, and at the same time knows what the fuck they're doing. Herman's made some good games, brilliant technical games, but most people would not look at Killzone or, honestly, the first Horizon and go, oh my God, they're the greatest games ever. They don't sit. Guy's a smart guy. Herman's a smart guy, which is fine if you are running a steady ship, if you are sailing into the waters of things you're familiar with, more cinematic action adventure games. Probably the reason Ghost of Yotei is coming out, roughly on schedule. Probably the reason we had a lot of Spider-Man games this generation, a lot of Insomniac games this generation. We had a God of War, because they know how to do that. They're built to do that. They're not built to do this. Service games are like amusement parks, not movies. And they're not set up for that. It's almost like they should break Sony up and say, or PlayStation up and say, there's the head of this version of PlayStation, and then there's the head of live service. Because for head of live service, you want a captain who's been in these stormy, choppy, incredibly bloody waters before. And I will also say the thing that really pisses me off, but also makes me happy because of the I told you so I was talking about, is if some or a lot of these executives would fucking play games more. Scott Rohde, who's still there, plays the shit out of games. Shuhei did as well. But the weird thing is, and I had executives tell me this, the lack of awareness of the mobile space at first and the PC space now, that is all you need to know to go, oh, there are big fucking hits and there are big fucking money plays that cost almost nothing. Because teams that make things like Valheim, Schedule One, Repo, Phasmophobia, which was started by one guy, and then after the game was a hit, after the game was profitable, and he knew people loved it, then he built out the team, then he started throwing resources and money at it, improving the already successful foundation and also making it just look more commercial, more appealing. Obviously, the current flavor of the month is Peak, which is absolutely huge right now. These are games that are made where play comes first, production value comes second, and they know very, very quickly if there's an audience for what they're making. In the live service space, that's the way it works, man. It's such a ridiculous concept when you think about all the production done for these. God, it just makes you angry. It does to me. When you think about Fair Play, all the money that must have been spent, you think about Concord, all the money, think about Last of Us, all the money. Where was anybody going? Fellas, let's see if it works at a very cheap level. And if it does, then we can start building. And I know there are PlayStation fans that say, we don't want that early access slop. You don't have to play it then. You can wait for 4 years. If Concord would have come out 3 years ago as a very early access, rudimentary looking experience. But if there had been magic there and the players couldn't stop playing it, like with any of these kind of PC hits that become zeitgeist titans, 2 or 3 or 4 years down the line when it's all polished and it looks like a PlayStation first party game, then you can come in and play. That's the way you build in this space. And the fact that they didn't know that, because so many of these guys do not play PC games. They don't play mobile games. I really think, end of the day, it points a finger more at how are they hiring these people for these leadership positions, and why are they allowing these people, like the Seans and the Connies and the Allens, and Scott's still there, but he should be in a higher position at this point. Why are they allowing these people to get away? But I've been saying this for a long time. I'm glad you're finally coming around to it, but good Lord, man, what a waste. What a waste, especially given that there were so many people, noses pressed up against the window, telling you that you were doing it all wrong. So, in conclusion, yes, saying I told you so feels pretty good. Or maybe that's just a little tickle in my butthole. Zing. No, it feels really good.